Welcome to Monday Morning Express. We have a nice show planned today. As we mentioned last week, we're going to go back to Ukiah to visit the PBL SN3 layout that was originally built by the McKenzie brothers.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And of course, we have a great segment today with Boyd Reyes. It's going to be just a little bit longer than normal, but this is a very important one. We're going to see parts of painting and applying those decals.
Hopefully they got their mugs and their coffee ready for that extended time with Boyd, but yeah, that'll be fantastic. We also have some features on our brasstrains.com website that we're kind of adjusting a little bit. And we want to share some photos from one of our viewers who not only collects brass model trains, he collects the real thing.
What? 1-to-1 scale, really?
It's hard to beat the accuracy of the prototype. Now, also at the end of the show, we're going to share a few more hints about our special guest next week. So thanks for joining us. We've got a great show for you. So we have made the trek up the mountain. Good driving, Roland.
Thank you, thank
to
you.
the beautiful home of Bill Peters and his wife, Mary Ann, the home of PBL, where there's amazing trains everywhere. Like I've actually started looking under things and find more great stuff. Tell us a little bit about this layout, Bill.
Well, this layout was built by the brothers John and Mike McKenzie. They live over east of us, east and south in Vacaville. And years ago, if you recall, I used to haul a layout around we called Chama. It was sort of like this in a shadow box. And after 20 years, I got too old to haul it around or too tired anyway. It was heavy. So these guys had this thing, and we talked them into bringing it to shows for us. And they did it about 10 times, and then they were tired of it.
Yeah.
And so what happened is it was sitting down there in a place in storage, and I said, well, you know, it might fit in my room here, and I don't have Chama anymore because we donated it to the museum. So maybe you could bring this up here, and we'll make some kind of deal for it. And that's what happened.
Yeah,
it's a well-designed thing. It doesn't have any part of it that's longer than 6 feet, and it just all fit in a little trailer.
It's really beautiful. The workmanship is great. Now tell us, I see if we can see the train coming around, one of your big Ks, a recent PBL product, right?
Right. This is one of the big Ks, and it's a K37, number 493. And this one happens to have a green boiler on it and very, very little weathering, because back in the day, in fact, it was 1977, we did a train when I lived in Chama. We did a special freight on the C&TS, and we painted the boiler green.
Okay.
And after they lit it off, and it had a leaky washout plug on it. And the washout plug, of course, made a big mess on the side of the boiler and couldn't leave it that way anyway. So they had to unfire it. And so then the next morning when they got it cooled down and they changed the washout plug, the morning when they lit it up, it had all this soot. And it just all came out. And it didn't have a green boiler anymore.
Oh, no.
Wow.
So we went all that work, and we had a black boiler 484 1930s on that train.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but a
story.
great project. They're beautiful. We looked at them. But you said they're sold out, right?
Yeah, well, that's what happens. you
Yeah,
know.
when you make something great, it sells out.
Selling out's a nice thing, too.
That's a good thing. That's a
Yeah,
good thing.
Hey, Bill, just mention a little bit, we see a lot of trees on the layout, and in particular on the other side, you know, a lot of logging, a lot of lumber in there. So tell us a little bit about that with McKenzie Brothers, what they do.
Well, they have the McKenzie Brothers Timber Company, I believe they call themselves. And yes, they do make these trees. And that's they also make a kit that you can buy that's a deal like to wind up and make your own trees.
Wow, very nice.
So yeah, you can look them up on the web. I believe it's McKenzie Brothers Timber Company.
Just a spectacular job. Really, really nice.
That's a beautiful layout, and it works just fine in this room. Fortunately for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about your next project. You got some shays coming out, right?
I do.
We got to see the prototypes here, and they're beautiful. Talk about the piping and some of why you're so proud of those.
Well, with those models, I drew them all in as solid models, 3D.
Okay.
And we have the Dixiana, which we're going to do. You'll see that too. And the Dixiana is built exactly like the Dixiana that's down in Felton. You can go right behind it today at the Roaring Camp at Big Trees. It's a really fun railroad. They run it on a 10% grade, if you can imagine that.
Not too far from San Francisco, you said,
No,
right?
it's south of San Francisco in a town called Felton, which is
Okay.
just a little bit up the highway from on Highway 17 from Santa Cruz,
Okay.
Monterey Bay. And so, yeah, you can ride that thing. It's beautiful. I recommend anybody who comes out to California go
Yeah.
see that, because you'll see shades. They also have, besides the Dixiana, they have the West Side number 7. And
Oh,
it's in
okay.
operation in the number 3 Eisler sometimes.
Wow.
And they've had them longer than the West Side has.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyways, the project you said you're real
Yeah.
proud of. I mean, it's stunning to look at. The detail is phenomenal.
Well, I drew them all as solid models.
Right.
And of course, with that, I can make a union. Of course, I have a plumber background.
Yeah.
So I know what all those fittings look like. And, I can make it as big as the screen and make it accurate.
Right.
And then, of course, when you put it on the model, it looks right. So I plumbed these models so that you can actually trace the piping from the cooling coils on the right-hand side, say, to the air pump on the other side, and like that. Everything's there. And surprisingly, Boo Rim was able to pull it off. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable detail. And
They're fantastic. I think I'm going to have to buy one from you. I'll try to work a
Yeah,
good deal
right?
over here. Anyways, we're going to show some pictures, and it looks
Sure.
like there's still a few available. So what's the best way? Just give you a call?
we have a thing called we call the inside track.
Right.
Guy can send $6 and order that and get an order form for the shays.
Okay.
They just see the pictures and so forth. But they can also look at them on the web.
On the
And
web.
the ETA on those, when do you expect them?
Probably January, February, March, somewhere
2018. You got it. All right.
28.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be looking forward to them. They look like they'll be well worth the wait.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, Bill. Well, we appreciate you taking a few minutes, and we want to keep looking around and show our viewers a little bit more of your facility here and some of the beautiful scenery outside and top of the mountain here.
Top of the mountain. That's it. Yeah.
I'm Tom Johnson with Branson Scenic Railway, and we're on board locomotive number 98, and you're watching Monday Morning Express.
Well, as we mentioned, Tom not only loves brass model trains, but he sort of collects the real thing.
Yes, he does. And Tom is the co-owner of the Branson Scenic Railway there in Missouri, along with his other partners there, Alan, and I hope I say this right, Isla Camp. They also have a dedicated staff who help the railroad to be the success that it is. In fact, he's kindly invited us to visit him there, and we hope to be able to do so sometime here in the near future, if possible.
Yeah, I've been wanting to for years.
Road trip.
But yeah, absolutely. They even have a dinner train, so trains and food, it sounds great. By the way, Chuck Stead already made it up there.
Yeah, I see that. That's great. I also thought it was fascinating that Tom said the annual ridership for the year should be over 100,000 riders.
That is impressive. Just shows everybody loves trains, like we've been saying. And next year, actually, they're going to be celebrating their 25th anniversary.
And Tom also mentioned he's been fortunate enough to own several passenger cars through the years, and he's enjoyed attending the Railroad Passenger Car Alliance Convention through the years. So if we have other viewers who love brass models and have their own prototype equipment, why, feel free to send us some photos.
Yeah, I love being jealous, so send them in. And Tom, we're going to get your mug out to you. Thanks for the shout out and the photos.
Very nice. Well, hey, Dan, we just wanted to take a moment on the show here just to update you, our viewers, about a couple of things on our BrassTrains.com website. First of all, we have a new section. It's called the Bargain Brass section. We're going to show you that here on the website. And really what that is for customers to be able to go to and find, well, some good deals and projects to work on. But the models are being sold as is.
Yeah, and we mentioned this before, but I think like what we started it with and what people may become accustomed to is just very like inexpensive items, older items. But we want our viewers to be aware that sometimes it's going to be like a really nice item that just needs a little work that maybe we don't have the time for, or a consignor doesn't want to pay for, and so they could get a great deal. Like we have a key O-scale piece going up, beautiful Southern Pacific model, and we're going to give a great deal on it because
it needs
a little work. Yeah,
That's it. So that's the purpose behind that Bargain Brass section, and you're going to see that on our website. It's in our department section, so you can find it easily. One other thing we wanted to mention is, ta-da! The Brass Train Price and Data Guide, Volume 2. We are down to only 24 copies left
Hard to
of this.
believe.
You know, this was a lot of work by you and I that went into this printed version back in 2009. This volume 2, but they're almost gone. So those customers who, if you haven't got a copy by now, or if yours is worn out, you want to get additional one, 24 left on the site. So I just wanted to make our audience aware of that.
Yeah, Volume 1's been sold out forever, but this
Absolutely.
volume really improved greatly on it. And there's also an interview in there with Reed Dennis, some great photos. It's a nice piece of history. I know most of the guys, including us, use the online price and data guide now, and that obviously has eclipsed this as far as the data and photos. But I think if you're a serious brass guy, you got to have one of those in your collection. So make sure to get over to our website and get it.
Yeah,
before
great
they're
to
gone.
produce and almost gone. So sad to see it go, but it's coming to an end with that. But now let's go ahead and go out to California. We're in our next to our last episode with Boyd Reyes, and as we're going to talk about some of these decals just a little bit more. Now we have our model painted. It's cured in our oven for a day now at least. And the next step is
Decaling.
decals. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, for some, this is the exciting part. You finally get to see the lettering or the number going on a particular car or locomotive, and you want to make sure you have it just right. So there's a little bit involved. So tell us what we have here. We have a couple different types of sets, but the first ones that we're going to go through here is what?
Well, our first decal, well, we have majority of our decals made through microscale. There are different groups that these sheets are custom. Well, this sheet is for my brand because it has doors, it has vestibule doors, and for bedroom doors. So I'll cut off the bottom of the kick plates to make the bedroom doors. So when you look inside a car, you'll see these door outlines inside a passenger car. Here's the table settings.
Nice.
Right up here, we will have the prism glass for the different side, the Pullman cars. Those are things that just bring in that extra detail.
And so these are, they're available. You custom made these.
I custom made those.
But regular decals, of course, are available through microscale.
Correct. With these products, there are a lot of things that are not available through microscale, and due to demand, sometimes they don't call for them. But I need certain decals, so that's where I came out with certain sets and even colors. These decals, they might look brown to you, but when you put them on a darker surface, they start changing the pitch. And so a lot of people, are unaware of this, that the deluxe, the deluxe gold.
Right.
In the past, when you would put deluxe gold decals on a green car, they were coming out lime green or very light. They weren't bringing out that gold was not popping out. So we came out with our own colors to bring out for the deluxe gold.
So to show true accurate colors.
True accurate. We want our cars, when we're painting, we want them to match what's coming out of Coachard or Union Terminal. We'll drop the money to make sure that we color match so to make sure that our cars are matching their cars.
Very nice.
And a lot of times, we can't just go off the shelf. There are several companies who make decals, they're correct. I work with microscale to do our custom run, but with thin film products. If you ever have a chance, check out their website. But we have a lot of our decals we custom make, and they'll go in with me, and we'll come out with our own sheets that are available to the public.
Very nice.
Yeah, and they're made to match Coachard products.
Excellent. Well, there's a variety of tools available out there. So sometimes you got to search. But why don't you go ahead and show us now the process, the steps of sliding these off and applying them. We're not going to apply them to our car here, but we're going to apply them right to our surface here so that our audience at home can see that. Now, of course, we have our microscale finishing products here.
Yeah.
And we'll have those there. And tell us what you're going to use first.
Well, right now, I think I'll use the micro set. Micro set is developed just to put it right underneath. It's your first coat.
First coat on the surface of the model. So go ahead.
You push that right on the surface, and your decal will go on top of it. Once your decal gets locked in the position, then you can use the micro sol.
Set. Oh, sol. You're right. I'm sorry.
Sol. Yeah, micro sol. You put that on top, and that will pretty much dissolve the film, make it go snug against the car.
Right. And I'm thinking too, of course, as you know, they've told us too before. For example, if you're on a tender and it has the rivet detail, right? It helps it just snug right to those rivets. So that's what you would use as a second follow-up to the micro set. Okay.
Here's a color panel. I might put some
There
on
you go.
here or
Okay.
whatever, but you'll see the difference. What a color can change. So you'll see how the decal changes color once we put it on a dark surface. So I'll just take out this, let's say, Northwestern. I don't use hard water. So I'll use like tap water that's been, processed to get the minerals out. Because there's nothing worse than using hard water and it leaves hard water stains on your dark paint.
And as long as you're done drinking or you're not done drinking, right?
There's your water bottle. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just make sure that it's wet. I'll lay it down here. I'll grab, let me cut out a door outline.
Okay.
And even a table setting or whatever. Yeah, these little table settings work great. Work great on so those manufacturers, third-party manufacturers of tables, interior car kits. I'll cut out a door outline. So that would be like a bedroom door right there. Here's, so.
Soften it up in there a little.
A little bit of water. Presto, we'll just let it sit there. We're gonna use our table as a simulated car surface, and I'm gonna put this this decal on the brow,
to see
so that way you can see that one. Yeah, the other ones are. Oh, that came off in there. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna use. Here's a decal solution. Just brush that on. And here goes this deluxe.
Slide it off, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, you can position it,
I'm
right?
crooked.
See, that's the beauty.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah. You know, when you look at decals, I like to make sure that it's straight. Whenever you look at a car dead on,
Right.
it's gonna be crooked. So always look down in this direction to make sure you have a straight line. So when you look down long ways, you can make sure that your decals are on there straight.
It's like looking down the length of a tracks, right?
Yes, yeah. You'll see all the crooked rails, and, so just make sure that you got it on there the long ways.
And as long as you've got this solution on there, you can move it around.
Yeah. And these decals are, the fresh decals, they just lay down really nice. It's like that.
Okay.
I'm a little crooked right now. It's kind of hard.
Might be a little hard on camera.
Yeah, I'm up a little bit on this side, but. Well, we'll tell a story, but, it's right on there.
Okay.
But the best way, look down the line. Never look straight at it because nobody's eyes are perfectly lined up.
And of course, as far as getting any of the fine bubbles or anything out, you can also, is recommended, of course, by the manufacturer.
Yeah, you can dip it in water like this.
Yeah,
you can go through and
towel.
just pat it, just watch it,
You want to be careful not to move it, but you certainly can press down with that.
But I always push it out with a brush. I just go like that and just shove it out.
Right.
And just try to leave it alone. And then we'll lock it in place shortly with the micro saw.
Okay.
And then here's our doors, a door.
Move that out.
Okay, I'll get some of the solution. Pull it about there. And I can just
slide that right out.
There. Maybe a door outline. You could put this in a vestibule. Oh, they're just great. This on top of a table. Voila, you got a table setting.
I'm getting hungry just looking at it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, all the brass diners that are coming out from Korea, they all have
Right.
the table settings. So we had to make sure that we offered the same thing too.
Right, right.
So yeah, for the older cars, it really kicks them up. Looking in there, you see all the table settings and
Added
stuff.
details, right? All the
Yeah.
little touches. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Okay, so you got all your bubbles out, you work all that out, and don't touch it for a little bit, right?
Yeah, we can hit the this one with the
Okay,
microsol.
within a few minutes.
Microsol. This one will get rid of a lot of the film. Go through it, it'll dissolve the film. Always make sure you decal on a glossy surface.
Right.
If you decal on a flat, you're going to get bubbles. Make sure you decal on a nice and glossy surface. Just leave it alone. It'll dry right in there.
Very nice. Okay, so we've got that with our micro scale products. We'll go ahead and put that away. Now something else that, we'll move this to the side over here for you. Something else we have on our table here now is, well, it's a different type of film and everything. Explain to us what this is.
This is reverse decal technology.
Okay.
This is a short-term decal. These decals they have a really a shelf life. I don't know how it's going to respond. It's been a year since these were made, but this is what the importers use.
By the way, this is the paper you're talking about.
The protective paper.
For lining the booth,
for
too.
lining the booth. Yeah, it's like a wax paper.
Absolutely.
Because if I've had them ship stuff, these decal sheets with regular paper, and when you peel it off, the film comes right off. So you have to. They are separated by the wax paper.
So tell us what we have here then.
Okay, these sheets, the decal is printed on top of the wax paper, the decal film, but there's a clear film that's added up on top. I don't know if you can see it, but above these lines, at certain angles, you can see the outline. It's a very thick outline on top of those
You can see it
decals.
around those
They look like like the old thick decals.
Yeah, it looks just a little thicker.
They're just really thick. So what I'll do is I'll sit here and let me cut out a line. Reverse decal technology is the film is on top. The film, when the decal is applied, the film holds the decal in place. So all right, like this line right here, I got to cut. So this is stripe on a phase 4B, Amtrak. I usually
So
have
we
like
still
a
dip it in
pad.
water? Okay.
Yeah, still dip it in water. It's the same process. Usually have a tray where if I'm doing a bunch of decals, I'll just lay them out and just let them sit there in the water for quite some time. But the film is on top, and the purpose of this is the film can be removed. Let's see if it's ready to go. Yeah, there it goes. No chemicals are needed.
Nothing.
Nothing, no chemicals. I always like to just lay just a little bit of water.
You lay it right in here.
Alrighty, yeah. That way it lets it slide. So I'll lay the decal there. Yeah. Let's let it sit there. Do not stretch it. Do not yank on it or whatever. And this stuff, we don't want to disturb the top film. If you really push on it or whatever, the top film will start to separate. You can end up with a
light,
mess.
very light.
Very, very, very light, yeah. Squeeze out the bubbles. The water is used to transfer it. Once it gets transferred and you can move it in your position, we're going to use heat to lock it in place.
Okay.
So with a hair dryer, we're going to go back and forth and hit this area with the hair dryer and peel off the clear film. So let me just get this, all the water bubbles. And it has to sit there for 30 minutes. So after we heat it up, you have to wait 30 minutes. Do not touch it before, because what happens, it softens the film, it lets it grab onto the surface, and then you have to wait for that film to harden up again before you can pull up the film, because the film, you're gonna have a hard time removing it. Okay. And just, yeah, it'll put up a fight. So with the heat, nice and hot.
Okay.
Can't get it too hot where it melts the
So if you had a true heat gun, be careful.
Yeah, you'll melt the plastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, try to use a hair dryer. And then we just, 30 minutes.
Now we start. Okay, 30 minutes, we'll be back and we'll take it off. It's been 30 minutes, and we'll go ahead and remove our little film here.
Remember, this film holds it intact. So the edge of the decals, there's a little flap. So we're just gonna pull towards the direction. Don't pull to the side, always pull
same line
away from you, yeah. Oops, just started to snag a little bit, so we'll have to.
Because this is actual paint underneath here.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed immediately about this, Boyd, is that even, you probably might not be able to see this on camera, but even the, very
surface is
little
rough,
surface,
yeah.
It's got a little roughness to it. It sucks right into it.
Oh yeah, without any chemicals or anything.
I see no edges around it, no border there. We also did this Amtrak logo, right?
Yeah, you wanted to see how these little tiny letters and thing hold up, and get rid of that. Oops. I didn't let that, I pulled a K out by accident, but it holds all the letters and numbers together.
Holds it together. We don't see any of the
film.
The film on there, which is typical with ones that we would see here in the States with microscale. Now, explain, why is it that we don't see this available from companies like Microscale right now?
It's time sensitive. When you make these decals, they're made for a production. They have to be used within a certain time. If you don't use them, they start sticking to each other. That paint starts sticking to the plastic, it's maybe 6 to 8 months shelf life, and decals need to be made available for up to 10 years sometimes, so yeah, when you make, you print out let's say, Southern Pacific decals, you may not sell through them right away. It's going to take a while, so cost effective.
Absolutely.
Using the old traditional way is the way to go, but using this stuff, it's a lot more expensive and you have to order in production around 1,000 sheets.
Right.
And
so it makes sense when we think about it with Microscale, who provides it to in most cases, the consumer who's doing the one model.
Correct.
It's a little bit different. They can provide a decal that it slides off, but it has a shelf life of a lot longer compared to the reverse transfer that we see being produced in Korea and other places where they're doing multiple models in the same project. So it makes a lot of sense to be able to do it that way. And as you mentioned, the cost. Of course, the cost is being so expensive. Hopefully one day we'll be able to see something probably that could come to the States. That would be nice. But we just wanted to give a comparison here.
In the past, too, I was always told pad printing, and I thought it was pad printing in the past. But within the last 2 years, I found out about reverse decals, and that's a neat process. I really like it, but it's... I call it cheating, man. It's like, man, it looks like paint.
Looks just like paint.
Really, zero film, but Yeah, whenever I can use it, I try to use it.
Okay, so if we had the decals here on our model, we don't have them right now, but if we had our decals applied to our model, what would be the final step here that we would do?
The final is the clear coat. I use a tester's gloss coat.
Okay.
Same thing, I just pour a little bit of lacquer thinner in there and just start spraying. I will open up the nozzle to get and lower the pressure to get a glossier finish. I always practice on a piece of brass or something before I spray it, because it is a final thing. I just turn down the tip to where it's almost closed and just start opening little by little until I get the desired effect.
Right. So you can do actually a satin type look with it and everything else.
Yeah.
But what is the importance of putting that clear coat after the decals?
You got to seal the decal. See right here, there's two different surfaces. This stripe is a little bit shinier than the surface, so you want to even them out.
Right.
Yeah, and to protect your
decal.
them.
Because otherwise, if you didn't do that, and I've seen this happen, we get models through the shop and someone's done that and has not put that clear coat to seal them in, those decals are going to come off.
Yeah.
You're going to see it come off.
And you got to definitely make sure that they are sealed from the bottom. It's using the chemicals to adhere and to seal them up on top. Yeah, they will crack off. They will fog up. Yeah. I've seen it too when you lay down older decals, you'll start seeing air pockets underneath.
Right.
You may have to get a small X-Acto and start poking, putting more of that solution up on top, so that way it can start dissolving some of the film underneath.
Okay. So some great tips here on painting a brass model train. We've taken it down to nothing. We've gone through the different processes. We've gone resistance soldering. We've done the primering. We've done the striping of it, the painting from lighter color to darker colors.
Yeah.
And then this process with our decals, and then finally our clear coat. We have our model done and ready for assembly. Now, we have one more episode that we're going to share with you, and in that we're going to talk about some of those detail parts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next week, as we mentioned, we have a very special guest we're looking forward to.
And we can't tell you who it is, but I will give you a little hint. He wrote this book, which many UP fans feel is one of the greatest books ever written. And like most uber-talented people, he is a man of many skills. And I think, Roland, one of the things a lot of people don't know about the unnamed guest is that he has been involved behind the scenes in brass model railroads and importing in a lot of ways people don't realize. So I'm really excited to talk to him. I think we're all going to learn a lot from what he has to share.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Dan, next week, well, drum roll, it comes to a close. Our very last episode, don't cry, with Mr. Boyd Reyes. Boyd's been a part of the show, well, just about as much as we have this season.
Yeah, I would say.
But we're going to finish up with that, and we really enjoyed his series.
Brings a little tear to my eye. Maybe he can come out and co-host with us or something.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, one of these days.
That would be cool.
So that's great. And remember, something showed up, right?
Yeah, we got a nice supply of, the RSs came in. So models look beautiful. We're going to get them out to you in the mail. Should be receiving yours any day now.
See, I kept checking the mailbox and they showed up.
Absolutely.
So I know they're going to look forward to those. And finally, we had promised, and we will deliver on this too, a little peek at some of the remodeling we have been doing. So speaking of, we got a lot of work to do. So thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Monday Morning Express.